What if I told you that the single most effective thing you could do today to prevent a fall, more effective than any balance gadget, any grip sock, any bathroom handrail, is not something you buy, not something you install, and not a new exercise routine? The answer is simpler than that. It is a change in how you walk. One small, specific adjustment to a movement you have been doing your entire life, and almost certainly doing wrong for the last several years without knowing it. After 26 years of working with adults over 70 as a physical therapist, I have seen this pattern more times than I can count. A person comes into my clinic after a fall. They feel confused. They feel embarrassed. They say, "I was just walking across the kitchen. I wasn't doing anything unusual." And they are right. They weren't doing anything unusual. That is exactly the problem, because the way they walk every single day has quietly become dangerous, and nobody ever told them. Today, I am going to change that for you. I am going to show you what is most likely happening in your walk right now, why it is putting you at serious risk, and the one simple change that can begin protecting you immediately, starting with your very next step. No equipment, no gym, just one adjustment that could genuinely save your life. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. The problem. Shuffle gait. Let me describe something to you, and I want you to think honestly about whether this sounds familiar. Imagine someone walking down a hallway. Their steps are short, much shorter than they used to be. Their feet barely leave the ground with each step, sliding forward in a low, shuffling motion rather than lifting cleanly off the floor. Their upper body is leaning slightly forward. Their gaze is tilted down toward the ground, and their arms are barely swinging at their sides. They are moving carefully, deliberately, because somewhere in the back of their mind they are aware that the floor feels less trustworthy than it used to. This is called a shuffle gait, and it is one of the most walking patterns I see in adults over 70. It develops gradually, so gradually that most people do not notice it happening at all. What starts as a little caution after a close call becomes a habit. The steps get shorter, the feet stop lifting, the posture shifts forward, and what feels like careful, safe walking is actually one of the highest risk movement patterns your body can adopt. Here is why. When your feet shuffle close to the ground, any irregularity on that surface, a rug edge, a slight rise in the flooring, a crack in the sidewalk becomes an instant trip hazard. There is simply not enough clearance between your foot and the floor for anything to go wrong without it going very wrong. And because your steps are short and your weight is already pitched forward, the moment your toe catches something, your body has no time and no room to recover. The fall happens before you even realize you are falling. Shuffle gait also signals something deeper. The muscles responsible for lifting your legs, your hip flexors, your glutes, your core have weakened from underuse, and the neurological connection between your brain and your legs has slowed down. The good news is that both of these things are reversible, and it starts with one change. The one change, heel strike. The change I want you to make is this. From this moment forward, every step you take should begin with your heel. This is called a heel strike, and it is how human beings are biomechanically designed to walk. When you are young and your gait is natural and unguarded, your heel hits the ground first with each step. Your weight then rolls forward through the arch of your foot across the ball and pushes off through your toes to drive the next step. It is a smooth, continuous rolling motion, and it is one of the most efficient and stable movement patterns the human body produces. But here is what happens over time. As the muscles weaken and confidence in our balance quietly erodes, that heel strike disappears. The foot starts landing flat or even toe first in a pattern that is shorter, lower, and far less stable. We stop rolling through the foot. We stop pushing off. We start shuffling. And with every passing month of shuffling, the muscles that produce a proper heel strike get weaker and weaker because they are simply not being asked to work. So, what does correcting this actually look like? It is simpler than you might think. With each step, I want you to reach your heel slightly forward, just a few inches more than you normally would, and let it make contact with the ground first. Feel the weight shift forward through your foot. Let your toes push off behind you as you step. And most importantly, Bob, lift your foot. Do not slide it. Pick it up, reach it forward, land on the heel. When you do this correctly, several things happen simultaneously. Your step length naturally increases, which improves your stability and forward momentum. Your foot clears the ground properly, which eliminates the risk of catching on surface irregularities. Your posture automatically improves. The heel strike pulls your weight back and upright out of that forward-leaning shuffle position, and your hip flexors, glutes, and core are suddenly being asked to work again. Music, which begins rebuilding the very strength that protects you from falls. One change, one adjustment, but it triggers a chain reaction throughout your entire body that begins working for you rather than against you with every single step. Now let me show you 5 exercises that will make this new walking pattern feel natural, automatic, and strong. Exercise 1. Conscious heel strike walk. Why it matters. Before anything else, you need to practice the heel strike itself, slowly, deliberately, and with full awareness. Most people who have been shuffling for months or years have genuinely lost the motor pattern of a proper heel strike. The neural pathway that produces it has faded from disuse. This exercise rebuilds it by asking your brain and your legs to practice the movement correctly, repetition by repetition, until it starts to become automatic again. How to do it? Find a clear hallway or a long open space along a wall. Stand at one end with one hand lightly touching the wall for safety if needed. Begin walking, but this time think about nothing except your heel. With every single step, consciously reach your heel slightly forward and let it land first. Feel the contact. Feel your weight roll through the foot. Feel your toes push off. Take 10 steps forward this way, turn carefully using small marching steps, and walk back 10 steps. That is 1 set. Complete 3 sets. Rest for 30 seconds between sets. What to focus on? Slow down significantly for this exercise. Speed is the enemy of relearning. The slower you walk, the more conscious control you have over each step, and the stronger the neural signal you are sending to your brain. Think of this as reprogramming, not just walking. Progress tip. Once you feel comfortable with the heel strike on flat ground, try it on a slightly different surface, carpet versus hardwood, for example. The slight variation forces your nervous system to adapt and generalize the pattern, which is exactly what you need for real-world safety. Exercise 2. High knee march. Why it matters. One of the most direct consequences of shuffle gait is that the hip flexors, the muscles responsible for lifting your leg with each step, become progressively weaker. When they are weak, your foot clearance drops. When foot clearance drops, every rug, every threshold, every uneven surface is a potential trip. This exercise specifically targets those hip flexors and rebuilds the lifting reflex that keeps your feet safely above the ground with every stride. How to do it? Stand behind a sturdy chair with both hands resting lightly on the back for support. March in place, lifting your right knee towards your chest as high as you comfortably can, then lowering it back to the floor with control. Then lift the left knee. That is 1 full repetition. Complete 15 repetitions on each side, 30 total lifts at a slow, deliberate pace. The lift should feel effortless. If it feels too easy, you are not going high enough. What to focus on? Stand tall throughout. Do not lean your upper body backward as your knee rises. Keep your torso upright. The lifting work should come entirely from your hip, not from momentum or body lean, and control the descent just as carefully as the lift. The lowering phase is equally important for building the eccentric strength your leg needs when your foot returns to the ground. Progress. Tip. As this becomes easier, practice the march while moving forward slowly through your hallway, lifting each knee before stepping, then placing your heel down first. You are now combining this exercise directly with exercise 1, which is the closest simulation of proper walking you can train at home. Exercise 3, stride length walk. Why it matters. Shuffle gait shortens your stride dramatically, often to half or less of what it was in younger years. A short stride is an unstable stride. It reduces your momentum, disrupts your balance rhythm, and forces your center of gravity into an awkward forward-pitched position. This exercise gently challenges you to extend your stride length back toward a safer, more stable range, rebuilding the confidence and muscle memory that a proper walking gait requires. How to do it? Place 2 pieces of tape on the floor of your hallway about 18 inches apart. This is your target stride length. Stand at one end, take a step forward, and aim to land your heel at or just beyond the second piece of tape. Then step with your other foot, landing the heel at the same distance. Walk the length of the hallway this way. 10 full strides, then turn and return. Complete 2 full lengths of the hallway. Focus entirely on step length and heel contact. What to focus on? Do not lunge or overreach. The goal is a comfortable, natural extension of your stride, not a dramatic exaggeration. If 18 inches feels too far, start with 12. The distance matters less than the habit of reaching that heel forward with intention on every step. Progress tip. Over time, move the tape markers slightly further apart, half an inch at a time, to progressively challenge your stride length. Most people are surprised by how quickly their stride naturally lengthens once they begin training it consciously. Exercise 4, slow motion walk. Why it matters. Speed is where proper walking mechanics break down. When we walk fast or even at our normal everyday pace, we rely on habit and momentum rather than conscious muscle control. For someone rebuilding a walking pattern, speed is the enemy. The slow motion walk removes speed from the equation entirely, forcing every muscle involved in walking to work independently and with full control. It is one of the most powerful neurological training tools available for relearning safe movement. How to do it. Stand at one end of your hallway. Begin walking at the slowest pace you can physically manage. So slow that each step takes a full 3 to 4 seconds to complete. Lift your foot, pause briefly in the air, reach the heel forward, lower it to the floor, feel the weight shift, push off with the toes, and begin the next step. Walk the full length of the hallway in this slow motion style. Turn carefully and return. That is 1 set. Complete 2 sets. What to focus on? This will feel strange. Slow motion walking is genuinely difficult because it removes all the shortcuts that habitual movement relies on. Every wobble you feel is your balance system being trained. Every correction your ankle makes is your nervous system rebuilding its responsiveness. Embrace the difficulty. It is the whole point. Progress tip. Try closing your eyes for 2 or 3 slow motion steps once you feel steady near the wall. This dramatically increases the proprioceptive challenge and accelerates the neurological adaptation you are building. Exercise 5, obstacle step over, why it matters. The controlled environment of a hallway is a starting point, but real life is full of obstacles. Rugs, door thresholds, pet toys, electrical cords, garden hoses. Every one of these is a potential trip hazard for someone with shuffle gait and low foot clearance. This exercise trains your brain and your legs to detect an obstacle, lift the foot high enough to clear it, and land safely on the other side, which is the exact sequence your body needs to execute in a fraction of a second when real life presents the same challenge. How to do it. Place a pool noodle, a rolled up towel, or a similarly soft, lightweight object on the floor of your hallway. It should be about 4 to 6 inches high. Stand a few feet back from the obstacle with a wall or chair within reach for support. Walk toward the obstacle at a normal, controlled pace. When you reach it, lift your right foot deliberately, high enough to clear the obstacle with room to spare, and step over. Then lift your left foot and clear the obstacle completely. Continue walking a few steps beyond it, turn carefully, and return stepping over the obstacle again. Complete 5 passes in each direction, 10 total step overs. What to focus on? Do not rush as you approach the obstacle. Slow down slightly as you get close. Pick your foot up early, well before you reach the object, and make a conscious, confident step. The goal is to train your brain to recognize an obstacle, respond in advance, and execute the clearance with control rather than panic. Progress tip. Once this feels easy, try varying the height of the obstacle. Slightly higher one week, a different texture the next. You can also practice stepping over it while carrying something light in one hand, which is a more accurate simulation of the way real-life trips tend to happen. Important safety warning. Before you begin practicing any of these exercises, I need you to take this seriously because your safety is everything. If you have recently had a hip or knee replacement or being treated for plantar fasciitis or any heel condition or have been told by your doctor to avoid weight-bearing exercise, please speak with your physician or physical therapist before attempting these movements. Some exercises may need to be modified for your specific situation. Always practice near a wall, countertop, or sturdy chair. Never rush these exercises. Wear non-slip footwear or go barefoot on a safe surface. And if at any point you feel sharp pain, dizziness, or anything that does not feel right, stop immediately. There is no movement here worth risking your safety over. Progress at your own pace and trust your body to tell you when it is ready for more. Closing. Over the last several minutes, you have seen how numbness and tingling in the legs and feet after 70 is not something you have to accept as permanent. It begins with waking up the smallest muscles, the ones in your toes, your arches, and your ankles. Then it moves upward through the ankle joint, the calf, and the full lower leg, rebuilding the circulation pathways that keep your nerves nourished and alive. Each exercise in this routine builds on the one before it, exactly as the body prefers to heal. The seated toe and ankle wake-up sends the first signal. The ball massage drives blood into the smallest vessels. The heel-to-toe weight rock reconnects your nervous system to the ground beneath your feet. The towel toe curl rebuilds the intrinsic strength that most people lose silently over years. And the controlled heel raise brings everything together into one movement your body can rely on every single day. When these exercises are practiced consistently, not perfectly but consistently, the changes are real and they are lasting. The nighttime tingling that wakes you up begins to ease. The morning numbness that makes those first steps feel uncertain resolves more quickly. The heavy, disconnected feeling in your feet gives way to something that feels more like solid ground again. Circulation improves not through intensity, but through patience and repetition. Small movements done daily send a clearer message to the nervous system than aggressive workouts done once a week. The body responds to what it is reminded of every day, and these exercises are that daily reminder. The long-term benefit reaches far beyond physical comfort. Healthy nerve function and strong leg circulation protect your balance. They reduce the fear of falling that quietly steals confidence from so many older adults. They preserve the ability to walk to your mailbox, climb your own stairs, play with your grandchildren, and move through daily life without constantly wondering whether your legs will hold you. That kind of independence is not a small thing. It is everything. Aging does not mean surrendering control over how your body feels. It means learning which movements your body truly needs at this stage of life and choosing them every day with care and intention. These exercises are that choice, simple, safe, and powerful in ways that add up over weeks and months. Now, I would love to hear from you. Is your numbness worse at night, during the day, or after long periods of sitting? Leave a comment with your age and where you are watching from. Your experience might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.